Mm. Hey, everybody. Hi, hello, and welcome. Today is the 3rd. Mercury goes direct in about within the next half hour. Mercury goes direct. Today's actually my spiritual birthday. It was this time 2 years ago that I decided to get my life together and I started meditating heavy for like 2 weeks. And then I just looked at the chart. There's so many retrogrades. I'm like, oh my gosh. I already got like what 4 retrogrades already in my natal chart. So what's a few more? Um, but yeah. And so the cards, I got the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh, it's up right now. It was in reverse. I just pulled some cards to pick up for the thumbnail. And it's interesting that the compulsory evacuation device came out with Elemental Hero Clayman in reverse. Now, Clayman to me, oh, it's like a golem, which is the Six of Wands. Hey, Zelda, how you been? It's been a minute. I wanted to pull some Oracle or a Tarot deck. I don't know which one to pull though. The SKT. Okay. How you been? How you been? And also, the moon is conjuncting the North Node today, which is interesting. Oh, I feel like moon conjunct North Node is a good sign, personally. But we'll see. It's time to duel. All right. Oh wow. Well, thank you for your service and for doing the work that someone has to do. Your birth node is in Taurus. Your North Node is in Taurus, so you're going to be coming upon a nodal return next year or the year after, probably 2022, because the nodes are like halfway through Gemini now. It's about to shift into Taurus. So your daughter is doing okay. Hang it in there. I've been taking care of your health. Money's going up. Okay, Zelda. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm glad to hear that your money's up and that it seems like things have been maybe a little rough, but good or getting better. So, yeah, lessons can be tough, but once you get to learn them, that's when we like move forward in life. So, thank you. And let's see what comes up. I'll catch you later. I hope you enjoy this new job and that it's not too crazy. And again, thank you for being one of the ones out there really um, you know, working, especially in that type of unit right now, because we need some good souls out there. Okay. I don't know what the SKT is going to be for. So it was interesting that because Clayman to me is that like this is stuck. This is slow and it's an elemental hero. So it's all about that element of earth. And then we have this compulsory evacuation device. And compulsory to me means you ain't got no choice. Let's see. Can I read these today? Ooh, the text is so. I don't remember this text being this tiny on these cards. It says, return one monster on the field to its owner's hand, which I mean, compulsory evacuation device. What is Clayman about? Let's see. Clayman says it's a warrior type, an elemental hero with a clay body built to last. Will heal, preserve his elemental hero colleagues at any cost. His attack is pretty low, but his defense is very high. And again, to me, these two, that's that like it's this stagnating energy that was sort of preserving things at any cost, but at a certain point we kind of have to ask ourselves if the things that we're preserving are worth preserving and if we're keeping ourselves from something that works better. But with that compulsory evacuation device, he's going back. He has no choice. And then the card that came out in reverse is the Black Pendant. The Black Pendant, it says increase the attack of a monster equipped with this card by 500 points. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent's life points. But it's in reverse. And I feel like it's like how sometimes, even when you win, you lose type of energy. I don't think that's going to be the case. Maybe that's like a space of something like a threat, but I don't think that's going to be the case. All right, let's see. Last time I was like a bottle of wine down when I did this. So let's see what Yu-Gi-Oh is saying it's time for. Ooh, it's time to ooh. Oh wow. Okay. I think I saw this card. So the card that came out is the Princess of Tsurugi. Princess of Tsurugi is wind element. She came out in reverse. Bottom of the deck is Monster Reborn, or Monster Reincarnation, actually. It says discard one card from your hand, add one monster card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is an energy, and I love that it's the reincarnation because this actually came out a little bit yesterday or the day before. And it was this element of things not having gone necessarily right in the past, but not from an organizational structural point of view, from a human perspective. Um, and maybe it was like this premature evacuation. Sorry, I'm immature. It was almost the space of this premature evacuation. It was the tower card and the vice versa. But the tower was perfectly intact and still standing. The only things on fire in the tower card were the people jumping out of the tower. And then there was this Four of Cups. It was the back of the Four of Cups where the ship had sailed. And then we started all over with the Two of Wands, which is like a brand new beginning. And more or less, it's about how sometimes there are some lessons that we learn through the space of interactions with people, or some people primarily learn that way. And then there are some things that we learn through the space of the self, or some people primarily learn through the space of the self. And it was about the things that we need to do and the way that we need to do it to get to where we are going. And so this card, it doesn't put the monster back on the field, it puts the monster back in your hand. And excuse me, that could be just as good, because let's say that like there's a monster that if you put it face down, it has a special effect, right? Or when it turns face up, then an effect activates. Well, if the monster goes right to the field, you don't really have that opportunity. But also, like if there's a monster with the summoning cost, then you have to pay the cost again. And so there is this energy of like, just because we get this back doesn't mean it's going to be any easier. It still requires whatever it requires. And then this other card, Princess of Tsurugi. What does Tsurugi mean? Suru. I don't know. Oh, she's another warrior. I have so many warriors in this deck. Oh, look, and here's a flip. Here's a flip effect right here. She has a flip effect. That's what I was talking about. I didn't even read it. So her flip effect says, Inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent's life points for each spell and trap card on your opponent's side of the field. Ooh. So if your opponent has lots of spells and traps on their side of the field, it deals points of direct damage to them. And this is interesting because spells and traps, not always necessarily, but they are these sort of invisible, intangible things that have the ability to affect the tides of the battle in a way that isn't necessarily as easily manageable, right? Because if it's a monster card, you can attack the monster. There are spell cards and trap cards that affect monsters. But with a spell or a trap card, they're a little bit harder to sort of get rid of. And so this doesn't get rid of any of the spells or traps, but it punishes the caster, I guess, for having them. Monster reincarnation was at the bottom of the deck. I'll get an SKT for this. Why not? So this overall energy, again, it's there's this energy of the things that keep us stuck and the things that keep us stagnant being forced to basically not go into hiding, but it's like they're being sent away, right? Because what did a big compulsory evacuation device? It didn't send it to the graveyard. I think it just sent it back to the person's hand. And so on one side, it's like, oh, snap. Thank you, Zelda. I just got that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. It means more than you know. Um, oh, yep. See, Five of Wands, the contender. I feel like there's this energy of bottom of the deck is the Knight of Swords. There's this energy of the continuation of a fight being fought on both sides, right? I feel like a lot of times when we look at a battle, when we look at a fight, when we look at a war, it's easy to be like, oh, this is the good side, this is the bad side. But sometimes it's like fighting is rarely the solution to a problem. Now, because of how things are, sometimes it's necessary to stand your ground in opposition to someone or something that would take it from you. But it's like there's interest on both sides of continuing a losing game. But there's also interest on both sides of putting an end to the fight and to moving forward more cohesively. But there are like these fixed players or pieces or energies that really resist that change. And so we already saw in the beginning that some of those pieces are being forced off of the field. And we see here with monster reincarnation coming out with Princess Tsurugi, her flip effect can be activated twice, right? Because you put her face down, and then when you flip her over, she does the damage. She gets sent to the graveyard. You play monster, oops, you play monster reincarnation, she comes back to your hand so you can put her face down again. Because again, if she went back to the battlefield, her flip effect wouldn't activate because it only activates when you flip her from face down to face up. As she is revealed, when she is revealed, those with the traps and the spells take damage. And again, like it doesn't necessarily have to be bad or good or whatever. I don't make I try not to make grand statements because I know that there's good and bad in everything. There's more aligned, less aligned, higherly vibrating and lowerly, lesserly vibrating. There's what moves us forward and then what keeps us stuck, basically, on both sides. Okay, let's get one more, and then I'll end this. I got stuff to do, so this wasn't necessarily supposed to be extremely long. It's just a quick check in with some Yu-Gi-Oh cards to see if anything comes out that is of relevance and/or importance. But for those who don't know, if you've never seen, ooh, who's that? D-Spell. Look, there's another D-Spell card. What's over here? We got D-Spell and Snipe Hunter, which is a fiend and it has an effect also. Discard one card from your hand, select one card on the field, and roll a six-sided die. If the result is not one or six, destroy the selected card. See, there's all of these cards. Destroys one magic card on the field. If this card's target is face down, flip it face up. If the card is a magic card, it is destroyed. If not, it is returned to the face down position. The flipped card is not activated. So not only can you destroy a magic card with this, you could also reveal something that you can't see. And if this doesn't apply, you return it to its original position without affecting it or without triggering its effect. All of these cards coming out about destroying trap card, destroying magic, destroying this card, like returning things to someone's hand or things being returned to your hand. It's taking it off of the board. It's almost resetting the board in some ways, but it's not a full reset. It's selective because not everything is bad. And I've said it a while ago, specifically about like for those who resonate as indigo children. One characteristic of indigo children that I've come across, I don't personally resonate as an indigo, is that they can be really rebellious, but almost for no reason sometimes, like a rebel without a cause. And when they find a cause, then, and maybe it's meant for them to find a cause, something worthy of rebelling against. But it's like at the same point, if your work is ever done in your lifetime, or you may find yourself in a situation where you would normally rebel, you don't necessarily have to, right? And I was like, well, what happens if things shift in the positive? Are you still going to rebel against the positive shift because you have to rebel against anything and everything? And excuse me, it reminds me of an ad I saw. I've been seeing lots of political ads. No surprise, right? Because today is election day. Um, is today the day? Today is Super Tuesday, right? Super Tuesday is election day, right? You're here. It's sent. Thank you, Zelda. I received it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey Siri, when is Super Tuesday?
The U.S. presidential primaries have concluded for the 2020 election cycle. The next presidential primaries are in 2024.
Okay, so Super Tuesday is the primaries. Gotcha. Never mind. Never mind. It was 3:30. Okay. Yeah, Super Tuesday is the primary election. Today is just the election. Um, who is this? Well, is this a trap card? Here's a trap card in reverse. D Tribe. Oh, it's Dragon Tribe. All monsters on your side of the field are treated as dragon types until the end of. Wait, hold up, wait. All monsters on your side of the field are treated as dragon types until the end of the turn this card is activated. But it's in reverse. It honestly, it feels like a negation of some things. A Yeah, this is it's interesting. But like I said, and I saw this one ad that was like, sure, this doesn't affect me now, but there's no protection in the future, and I don't trust the government or whatever. And I'm like, see, we shouldn't be so. Oh, this is a whole bunch. Oh, there's one still face down. So I'll take this one. Oh, whoa, dragon bead. The dragon's bead and dragon tribe just came out, so I'm gonna read these. I am gonna get an SKT though, real quick. You're getting your nails done. Hey, I just cut my nails yesterday because I had to. Not because I had to, but one of them broke, and I had like one short nail and other long nails. So when I was typing, it was awkward. But I want to go to a spa someday. I was supposed to go 2016, 2017, but it never happens. But I hope you enjoy it. Treat yourself. Do something nice for you. But yeah, it's like it's playing on our mistrust. And it's like if we mistrust so much whenever there is a change, we may not be able to take it for what it is because of what it was. It's like as things are shifting, as things are changing, we have to allow them to be changed. And she's like, and I don't trust them. I was like, okay. All right, so can I get like, oh, there we go. Well, did it flip over? It jumped up. I don't think it flipped over. No, I didn't flip over. Can I get like one or two crates for this, please? And then we'll see. There's like 6 Yu-Gi-Oh cards that just came out. And I'm gonna end this after that. Ooh, I need to start preparing for my interview. uh, I'll do that later today. And I got tomorrow too, so. Okay. Maybe I gotta read them first. Alright, I'll read them first then. Bottom of the deck is the Stronghold of the Grail, Page of Pentacles, coming with a message on Earth. Peace on Earth. So the first card that came out is Heavy Storm, and it is the year of the Blue Lunar Storm. The Blue Lunar Storm is all about transformation. Permutation keeps popping into my mind. And a permutation is like permutations, I believe, if I recall correctly. It's like the number of different ways you can arrange the same things to get a different order. Like if 1, 2, 3 were the numbers, then there would be 6 permutations of 1, 2, and 3. Right? You got 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, and 3, 1, 2. And so maybe priorities are also shifting because as one thing comes up, it increases in priority. I think priorities are shifting. The balance is shifting. What we give weight to is shifting because maybe how severe things are getting or how high stress or it's like usually I would care about this one thing, but something else has come up right now. So I have to devote more time and energy to that. But anyway, it is the year of the blue lunar storm, and the blue storm it comes in and it purifies. It takes what doesn't belong. It might start a fire, and but it's a cleansing fire. It's the way that nature maintains itself. So anyway, heavy storm. Heavy storm is a magic card that says destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. So we had Princess of Tsurugi, and Princess of Tsurugi punishes the opponent for every spell and trap card that they have directly to their life points. This card gets rid of all of them. See, there is this like the board is clearing. It keeps coming out. Destroy this card. Take it, send it to the graveyard. We did have that one monster reincarnation card. And it's about the stuck energy, the spells and the traps being punished for them or them being cleared off of the board. Next is little baby dragon. Spear dragon. It's wind aspected. Oh, this one has an effect. It was in reverse. Ooh, Spear Dragon has a lot of attack and no defense at all. This may be one of the only cards I've seen that literally has 0 defense. 1900 attack it's a lot for a 4-star monster. If I don't even know if that ain't gonna focus, but it has literally zero defense, and it's like the opposite of Clayman. Now Clayman has more defense than the Spirit Dragon has attack. 1 second. All right, I'm back. And Emily just sent me a message. Oh, I think Mercury is direct. Let's see if Mercury is stationed direct. What was that? Yep, Mercury is stationed direct to 25 degrees Libra. Y'all see that? No little R next to Mercury anymore. Now we're in that post shadow until like 11 degrees Scorpio. Okay. All right. Things are definitely shifting and changing in a way. I thought it would be like there was this one feeling I had all day one day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't usually have this feeling like all day. I've been consistently having it. And it's funny because excuse me, I went over to Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart Readings, one of my faves here on YouTube, and she pulled a card for me one day. And she was talking about it was something like nesting in the heart or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I felt that all day yesterday. It was so weird because like I felt it temporarily, but to feel it like all day. And she was like, I think it might just be like the new thing for you. I think you might just be feeling like that. And I've been feeling like it consistently, like multiple days, like all day, just this feeling. Is that a kitten? I had a dream about a cat being outside. The dog is outside right now, but he's chained up, so he's not gonna whatever. Yeah, Mars is still retrograde. Mars goes direct. Oh snap! Boy, I sent you a message days ago. Um. Anyway, I'm getting all over the place. I'm distracted now. Okay. So Spirit Dragon's effect is during battle between this attacking card and a defense position monster. Let's see. Whose defense is lower than the attack of this card, inflict the difference and battle damage to your opponent's life points. If this card attack is oh wait. If this card attacks, it is changed to defense position at the end of the damage step. Oof. And it has no defense. But it's in reverse. So I think this being in reverse would mean it's in defense mode. So there's an attack. So maybe it already attacked then. It's already done damage. And now it's like a bee, right? Or is it a bee? It's like a bee. If a bee stings you, it dies, right? But if it's a hornet or a wasp, it can keep on stinging. But there's this element of sacrifice, and there's this question of whether it's worth it or not. And it's like this feeling of almost sort of not being able to sit alone with oneself. Or it's not being able to handle our own stuff. Like I said earlier, it's like there are some people who learn more through the space of reflection, and some people who learn more through the space of introspection. reflection being like other people showing you things that you don't necessarily like about yourself. But if you're never able to recognize that that person is reflecting something back to you, then it's like you never really take care of it. But I feel like with this in defense, it's almost like there's going to be the point, or there's going to reach a point when there's no one to reflect that back to you. Or maybe it's to reach a point where you don't need someone to reflect it back to you, right? Because defense position is this dragon's most vulnerable position. Again, it has literally zero defense points. So anything could take this thing out. And when we're in the space of feeling that vulnerable, sometimes we do go on the attack. The next card is the Witch of the Black Forest. She's got a pretty fair balance. She's a spellcaster and also an effect. I have monsters in this deck that don't have an effect. Clayman doesn't have an effect. All these other monsters coming out with effects. It says when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, move move one monster with a defense of 1500 or less from your deck to your hand. Your deck is then shuffled. So, oh, she got a third eye. Her third eye is open. I don't know. Oh gosh, and then Yami darkness. So if this spirit dragon was in your hand or in the deck, you could summon it or you can move it to your hand because it has zero defense. No, spirit dragon is really useful because it has such a high attack. If there's a monster with low defense. Now I think in Yu-Gi-Oh, as long as it's been a while since I played, so I might get this wrong. But as long as the monster is in defense position, then your life points are safe. And Yu-Gi-Oh, like you start with, I think back in the day it was 2,000, then they upped it to 4,000. Now it might be whatever life points, and once your life points hit zero, you lose. But if you summon a monster in defense position, then your life points are safe regardless of how much or how little defense that monster has. Now, Spirit Dragon has an effect where it inflicts the difference to your life points, right? So again, it's like there are these things that we use to shield ourselves, even if they're not necessarily that effective, and Spirit Dragon can punish us for it. Now, we're still better off than not having any defense at all, but Spirit Dragon punches through the defenses. With Spirit Dragon in reverse, it's not able to do that. And so now the message is changed. I feel like this is a message of our defenses being too high. With Heavy Storm, everything, like all the spells and traps, let's just say like the mental and the emotional. It's being sort of, and then monsters are the physical. Why not? Um, Everything's being stripped away so that you can see something, so that you can expand, so that you can grow. This card is supposed to be able to punch through your defenses to get you to see something, but it can't because it's in reverse. Now, this card, the Witch of the Black Forest, when she's sent to the graveyard, she actually has the ability to, if Spirit Dragon is in the deck, put him back, or to put him in the hand to get him to go again. If we're too stubborn, if our defenses are too high, then we're not going to be able to. It's like something that we're not going to see. And then here's Yami, which is darkness. Yami is like bent up. It might be the only card that's like this bent. Look at that. Yami is darkness, and it's another magic card. Yami says, increase the attack and defense of all fiend and spellcaster type. Oh, the crease. I can't read because of the crease. Of all fiend and spellcaster type monsters by 20 points? That can't be 20. 400, 200 by 200 points. 200 is justice. Also decreases the attack and defense of all fairy type monsters by 200 points. Okay, so it is 200 points. So Witch of the Black Forest would actually get 200 points to her attack and her defense, but Witch of the Black Forest, her effect activates when she's sent to the graveyard. With more attack and defense, it would make it harder to activate that effect, which would make it then harder for the Spirit Dragon to come into play to penetrate your defenses. Not only does it strengthen the dark, it also weakens the light. Now, 200 points isn't necessarily extreme, but if you're tied, it can like make or break a tie. It can make, break, or create a tie. The card that was in reverse, or it was flipped over, and it's in reverse, is Luster Dragon, which is another dragon. Luster Dragon, it's a dragon of light. It's wind aspected. Right, I'm assuming it's a dragon of light because luster is shiny. It says this dragon feeds on emerald. Okay. This dragon feeds on emerald, enchanted by this monster. What? Enchanted by this monster, even when attacked, few people live to tell of its beauty. 2400 attack, 1400 defense. And this is a monster you would have to sacrifice for because it's got more than 4 stars. And then the Dragon's Beak came out in reverse as well. Let me put this back in reverse. Dragon's Beak, discard 1 card from your hand. Negate the effect of a trap card that targets one face-up dragon type monster and destroy the trap card. Okay. So it came out in reverse. We had that. All of the dragons are in reverse. Everything else was upright. Yami, Heavy Storm, Witch of the Black Forest. The only cards in reverse: Spirit Dragon, Luster Dragon, and the Dragon's Bead. And the D Tribe, Dragon Tribe, I think that also came out in reverse. Now, I don't think dragons are necessarily. Okay, so dragons to me represent abundance because they hoard it, and wisdom, and like power. But dragon energy to me, it's an energy that sleeps when unprovoked, right? Unless you got like sheep or something, then it might like eat your sheep. I don't know. But it's an energy like the Western dragon is so different from the Eastern dragon. In the East, dragons are like respected and revered. In the West, they're like things to hunt. And it's almost like the energy that you approach it with is the energy that you get. And it reminds me of one of the cards that came out in the pick a card. It was Nikki. It reminds me of the Nickies when it was like the Nickies are to be revered. They can grant sailors safe passage and they rescue drowning children, but they can also be responsible for storms and tempests. And their prevalence was at a moment in history when we were so dependent on water travel. And it was like there was a question of, is this trip worth it if the Nickies get me? Um, and also, again, it was about like getting fresh food and expansion and discovery. But there was this energy of like, if you respect it, it will respect you. And it's the same as this heavy storm. I think this was pile 2. No, I think it was pile 1. I think it was number 1. I think it was the first one. Um, and it was this energy of like there are things that are being removed. I'm pretty sure it was the first one. it was like there's this energy of things that are being removed for a reason. And if you can respect that reason, or if you can respect the process, maybe you will see why certain things are happening. And when you can see it, it gives you a context that makes things at least easier to rationalize. But all of the dragons, all of this wisdom, all of this abundance, all of this power is in reverse. Now, Heavy Storm came out first. So Heavy Storm would actually get rid of the darkness as well as the dragon's bead. And the dragon's bead protects dragon types, but with Heavy Storm, it's not necessary because Heavy Storm it blows away all of the spells and traps anyway. Right? This was only if there's a spell that targets a dragon, right? Yeah, it's only for trap cards. But Heavy Storm blows away trap cards anyway. I think this is about respecting elemental forces. What's this? Why is this card face down? Oh. So the bottom of the deck, it's Kisei Tai. Oh, this thing look nasty. Kisei Tai is a fiend, 300 attack, 800 defense. We gotta read this whole thing. It's long, yo. It says when your opponent's monster attacks this card in face down defense position, the attacking monster is equipped with this card. Damage calculations are canceled. It says treat this card as an equipped spell card, and during each of your opponent's standby phases, increase. Hold up, wait. Increase your life points by half of the attack of the monster equipped with this card. Oh my gosh. So if you put one of these on that spirit dragon, that would be 950 life points that you get every standby phase. That's quite a bit. And I think Lester Dragon has like what 2400 attack. That would be 1200 life points. And it's a fiend monster, so it's another monster that would be powered up by Yami. But with this being a fiend monster, again, it's almost like I think it was in reverse though. Was it? No, I don't think it was. I think it was just face down. Yeah, this thing. Oh, look at it. Look all. Ugh. It's like a tube worm, like a parasite. Um, with it being, oh, it was face down. It was face down. That's when the effect activates too. So, Knight of Swords just came out. I think let's get one more. Can I get one more for this? Okay, that's like more than one, but that's fine. Oh, there's some more, but that's fine. So I'm gonna take this as the message. So the Page of Swords came out with the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Swords came out, and then the Hermit came out with the Sun and Death. Three majors. The Erudite, the Warrior, and the Reaper. This reminds me of this one show that I watched where all the dragons disappeared. There were like 5 dragons left or something, and they disappeared. but the whole time they were alive inside of the ones that they cared for. And it reminds me of A Wrinkle in Time when they said that it's like, oh, I forget what it was, but it was like, if ever there's a time that you can't feel our love, like, know that it's not lost, it's just enfolded, or something like that. There's an energy of something being enfolded, there's an energy of something being within. And as everything else is stripped away, and in this space, it's like we've nothing else left but to transform into these warriors, to go inside, find that light, and transform in a way that shines it outward, to become the embodiment of that, and to move forward in a way, seeing more and doing more, because we're aligned with spirit now. It changes how we operate and how we move because of this internal transformation here. And it's like, with all of these spells and all of these traps and all of these fiends and all this darkness and all of these effect monsters, even the monsters have effects. It's like it was too much going on to effectively see what we needed to. And so it's like everything was loaded onto the field. And it was like, bit by bit, here's this one card that'll take off a spell, here's another card that'll send a monster to the graveyard, here's a card that'll return a monster to your hand, here's a card that will, take a monster from your deck wherever it could be, put it into your hand, and then reshuffle the deck. But Heavy Storm, it clears the field of all spells and all traps. Now, monsters with effects are left unaffected. But the thing about, was it Kisetai? Is that once it latches onto something, it's treated as a spell card. So it may actually get rid of that. The Heavy Storm. I think Heavy Storm would get rid of that. But it puts us in a position to really choose. And sometimes that's the best we can do. We can't have our situations necessarily changed for us because our free will and our choice is always respected. So sometimes the best we could do is clear the board and start again. Now, when the board is cleared in real life, it's not necessarily the case that everything that troubles you or worries you is removed. It may just be that moment of clarity that you have when you're like, if I do this, things will go that way. If I do this other thing, things will go another way. And I usually do this one thing, but I don't know if I want to do that anymore. And then there's that choice. There's the choice that you can make free of whatever it is that your old pattern was. And you get to decide in that moment whether you're going to continue it or whether you're going to break it. And sometimes that's the best, or that's the closest to like clearing the board that we can get. But it's being in a position to really decide or to really choose. Bottom of the deck is the Five of Pentacles. It's an opportunity to go inside or to welcome yourself inside, honestly. So that's what I got. That's what I got. This was just like at 14 minutes. Now it's at 50. This was a lot of cards, but that's fine. I'm gonna give these a final shuffle. If these resonated, I'm glad. If not, then and I'm gonna put Yu-Gi-Oh in the title. That way, if people are like, "Oh, I'd rather save my time," then you can. But yeah, it's interesting. I feel like it's a position. Also, with all of the dragons being taken off of the board. Hold on, wait. D Tribe treats all monsters as a dragon, so then Dragon's Bead would be able to protect any monster. But with Heavy Spell, both D Tribe and Dragon's Bead, or Heavy Storm, with Heavy Storm, both D Tribe and Dragon's Bead would be taken off of the board. But Heavy Storm only clears persistent traps. It only clears our spell cards. It only clears things that are already on the board. So if the storm hits before, then you still have it in your hand. And I think that's the better metaphor. Um, it only clears what's on the board. We still have in our hand whatever we have in our hand. So if after the storm hits, we choose to play something else, then that choice that we make is honored. And again, that's the space of how sometimes we can be released of something or cleared of something, but then choose to go right back to it. Sometimes we're pushed to that choice by external factors. Maybe we don't have any other way of coping with something besides whatever it is. Oh, okay, we're done. There was a card that was face up, and I didn't even know it. We get to choose to put it back down there, and it's honored. So it's like, you were liberated from this, you were freed from this, but if you go back to it, your decision and your choice is honored. We tried to help you out. Ooh, Dark Magician is at the bottom of the deck. Everybody know Dark Magician, and it's the holographic way. Y'all know Dark Magician. He's like he's Yugi's at least main card. He's a spellcaster type. He's dark type. He is the Dark Magician. He's got the highest attack and defense that we've seen yet today. He beats out Luster Dragon by 100 points. And the card that came out is Enchanted Javelin, which is another trap card. Enchanted Javelin says, when your opponent's monster attacks, increase your life points by the attacking monster's attack points. So Enchanted Javelin would give you 2,500 more attack points if the Dark Magician attacked. And I think this is saying, for whatever you've lost, for whatever you think that you've lost, it is returned to you, or it will be returned to you, or it will be made better. So let's get this final SKT, and then I'll wrap it up. This is interesting. Excuse me. Ultimately, it honestly feels like we're in a position and in a space to begin to take our lives and our destinies and our fates and our futures into our own hands through the space of our choices, though. So if we continue to make the same choices and do the same things, we'll continue to get the same. Right? And that's the tricky part about external factors. It's like once they've worked on you, once they've convinced you of something, once you're programmed, then they don't have to be there anymore. Right? It's like it's an energy of trauma. Even after the event, you hold on to all of sort of what it did. And that's something that with the death card, the sun, and the hermit, we have to allow to be transformed within us. Or we may have to actively do it. All of the dragons were in reverse. So it's like that ancient all-knowing part of us, it's been silent. And maybe you've been feeling it in your life this year. I know at the beginning of the year, it seemed like Spirit was real quiet. And I know a few people were like, where is Spirit? Where did Spirit go? And even now, it's like, where is Spirit? Where did Spirit go? But it's so important for us to make these decisions moving forward. Some decisions can't be made for us. You can't force anyone's heart or mind to change. And to move into a new space with the same energy would cause the same to happen. And so now we get to choose as individuals and as a collective what we align to, right? That's why all the dragons are gone, but they live inside of us. We get to go and find them. Oh! Bottom of the deck is the Sacred Fire, Ace of Wands. The card that popped out is the Warrior, the Sun card again. It's a light that we fight for. It's a light that empowers us to fight. I'm actually going to read the I Ching for that because why not? Because why not? And again, Enchanted Javelin came out. So even if you were to be attacked directly with Enchanted Javelin, it would negate that attack. Now, if you aren't attacked directly, then you just get the boost to your life points. I Ching. Okay. I was like, what am I doing? I was I went to the store and I'm in the store singing like Bob Evans because I was getting some breakfast sandwiches. And then I look up and it was like people like, I don't even know what I was doing. I'm just like Bob Evans, or whatever. I'm like, goodness. Okay. So this is going to be double fire, unsurprisingly. And double fire is attachment number 30. We get attachment every now and then. This is the space that we've been working towards. We've been working towards this space of attachment. And I'll read it for you here in a second. So, this is emotional attachment and clinging. You are clinging on emotionally. You hope you can depend or rely on one who you have attached yourself emotionally to. Yet, for the matter at hand, clinging is auspicious. Nurturing and caring for the fertile cow will bring prosperity. Though you cling, do persevere. You must burn with fire from within and not rely on the external burning of fire. The luminous fire must start from within and burn outward. Clinging and emotional attachment is auspicious if the inner fire itself burns bright, which means we can't be looking for more than what we can give to ourselves, right? Or we're not looking, excuse me, we're not looking to get from someone else what we can get for ourselves. And so what we get from other people becomes these things that we can't give to ourselves. And that is auspicious because we're not necessarily designed to be islands or all encompassing or uh, isolatory statues, right? And I think with the death card, the warrior and the hermit, it is about going to the center of you, reigniting that fire. And then with the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, with that Page of Swords, it's about going out into the world as this light that plays with other lights, that forms these constellations in the sky, that can guide others or that can light up those spaces of the night, right? And so it's like when everything outside is falling away or is blowing away or is burning away, we only have what's left inside. And that's kind of the energy of this blue lunar storm coming at this time where there's an opportunity for great and significant purification and transformation. So that's what I got. Like I said, I hope it resonates. If it does, then you're welcome. If it doesn't, then sorry, you wasted time. But I hope y'all have a good whatever whenever y'all see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make it even better because I honestly, truly, 100% believe that it's possible right now. But we have to choose it, right? We have free will. So I think sometimes, like we'll say, or it will be said that because of your free will, you have to ask your angels, the universe, whatever system of love you subscribe to, or whatever you believe in, you have to ask for help and assistance to get help because you have free will. But also at the same time, there are certain things that they will not do for you, that they cannot do for you because you have free will and because you have choice, right? And it's like just because I want $1 million doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to give it to me. They may give me the opportunity to come across that if I so choose. So it's like the series of choices and decisions that we make instead of just like one, right? We get there eventually. So I'll catch y'all whenever I catch y'all. Bye. Thanks again, Zelda. It was fun. I'm glad to hear that everything's going well. And again, thank you for the donation.